Hey everyone, welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting and our weekly cash or trash. I want to thank you guys for joining us. This is the show where I look at this week's hot books and give my opinion. This is always just about my opinion, what I think is going to happen based on doing the look back show for the last couple of years, what I think, whether or not I think these are good buys, what I see happening. And I'll be right, I'll be wrong. All of those things are true. Excuse me. I will admit I love spring, but my sinuses are killing me today, so I'm fighting a sinus headache. So hopefully I'll be coherent throughout all of this. So, all right, let's see who all we got hanging out today. We got Luis Ramirez. What's going on? Unruly. He and Unruly were kind of tailgating. Ohana in the house. Thank you, Ohana. Some of you guys came back after last night, which is stunning. Sam I am. What's going on? Yes, happy Easter, Unruly. Chris Creative, what's happening? Deep House. What's going on? You're probably better off, Deep House. Dennis Hayes. It's about Unruly's opinion, really. There you go. Mr. Shark, what's going on? Let's see, the Gray Man, what's happening? So, yeah, I realize this may be a lighter stream than normal. It is Easter Sunday. Happy Easter, everybody. But, yeah, I'm doing this. So, Hidden Gem, what's going on? So, yeah. We got 17 books this week, so we did at least have a little overlap between the two lists. There's a few oddballs in here. A couple things I see. I didn't actually put down my prediction yet. So I'll have to on my notes, but we'll get to those in a second. So anything else I was going to bring up? Disclaimer. Next week there will be no cash or trash video. I'm not going to be around on Sunday. There won't even be a whatever report next Sunday. So apologize for that. I am going to try to make sure I get the look back done for Saturday as always. But as of right now, I won't be around to do this or the Sunday evening show next week. So what's going on, Kirk? Hello. Yeah, cleaning and listening. I appreciate you listening. So, and I'm sorry. So here we go. Let's get into this week's list. Mojo, what's happening? All right, we got first up Thundercats #1. This was on both lists this week, and this is because basically there'd been rumors that they were going to try to bring this to do a movie of this. That it's going to be like a half CGI, half live action kind of thing. And we got a director announced this week, so that is why this book hit the list. Raw copies jumped up to $160 to $200. 9.8s are hitting $1,600 to $2,100. But this is the definition of. If I can get to I'm having problems. There you go. Then I'll be back. Why? Because yes, they announced the director. The director is the same director that just did. Hey, William, did Godzilla vs. Kong. But he has another project he's just starting right now that's going to happen before this. So we got a long time before he even starts working on this, let alone before it comes out. He's got a whole other project he's doing in between. Just because he's signed on to this, we got years, literally. So this is the definition of an I'll be back. People are going to forget about this. This book is going to drop back. How long have we been waiting for a He-Man movie? Yeah. What's going on? Oh. Mr. Rain Man, what's going on? Rain Man. D-Bell says it's a trap. It might even be a trap just because it's so far out. I don't know what this book was going. They didn't really say what this book was going for before, like any of this news, and I didn't really look it up. But yeah, it's definitely at least at best, and I'll be back. And at worst, it's probably a trap just because it's going to be so long. Next up, what do we got? We got Invincible #110. This is hitting the list. This is kind of a controversial issue. I kind of wish I hadn't actually looked this up because I haven't watched the show yet and I haven't read this comic. We'll be talking about this a little bit tonight on the Whatever Report. Hey, Devo, what's going on? Big cat's fighting a mummy. Yeah. Anyway, all of these books are getting kind of hot because of this. This is a controversial issue. Like I said, I wish I kind of had looked this up because I've never read this, so I kind of know what happens now. Because I was trying to figure out why this one was particularly getting hot. I thought it was like a first or something. Raw copies jumped up to $50-$60. So far, everything I've heard has been nothing but positive about the show. I haven't watched the show because I haven't read the comic yet. I'm going to try to read it before I start watching. So I'm going to be behind on this at least for a while. But yeah, to me, this is anything Invincible. If this show is a hit, anything Invincible, at least in the short 6-month term, is straight cash. I think it appears the show is going to be a hit. If this show is going to be around for a while, these books are going to go up. They're not going to go down. Maybe a book like this is an I'll Be Back. We'll see if they even deal with this. What happens in this issue in the show that could like affect this particular one. But my guess is everything Invincible is going to go up. What's going on, Space Ghost? Were any of those star imprints on anyone's map ever? Yeah, I don't know. Hit me up, mine, because I'll just tell you right now, Kirk, it won the vote for one of the series I'm going to do for the indie show. So if you want to be a part of that and read that and discuss it with me, I haven't got anybody signed up for that yet. Let me know. Yeah, everybody's saying it's really good. So there you go. Because I've been looking for an excuse to get mine on something that I was doing. So next up, we got Bob's Burgers. Why is this hitting the list? I don't really know, other than it's just like getting some love. This is the first appearance of Bob's Burgers characters. Raw copies are going for $50. 9.8s are going for $250. They're talking about, how much Rick and Morty books go for. Nice. Hearing the Invincible. Hey, DJ, what's going on? No, definitely not. What's going on, comic collector? To me, this is a popular series, but $50-$60, or $50 for Raw, $250 for 9.8. I'm putting I'll Be Back on this. I think this is too high. And I don't, long term, where is this going to go? How much longer are they even going to make this show? Maybe it keeps going forever and ever, like The Simpsons or Family Guy. But yeah, to me, this is probably at the best. It's an I'll Be Back. And so, yeah. Next, we got Shadecraft #1. Well, there you go. That was on the CBSI list this week, so it wasn't on Tom's list. So I enjoy Bob's Burgers. It's pretty funny, but I don't know how much true value. I mean, even Simpsons #1, of course, it's a huge print run, isn't worth that much. So yeah, is Bob's Burgers really going to maintain a high value? I would guess it's going to maintain some value, just not probably what it's at currently. The little jump. We'll see. Shadecraft #1 is kind of the new indie Eagles trap 90% of the time. And really is absolutely right about this. This is hitting the list. There was a little buzz around this anyway. And then we got news that Netflix had optioned it. Before release. How many of these before release indies actually ever amount to anything? Option before release. Actually, have we seen any of them really that have actually turned into a show yet? I have strong doubts about this. To me, this is only because it's only going for like 15 is the only reason I'm saying this is an I'll Be Back and not a trap. Because it's only a $15 book. If this was going like 2025, it would absolutely be a trap. But I'll lean toward I'll Be Back on this one just because it's not really going for that much. Nola conquers the Imageverse. Yeah. Yeah. It could be really good, but I have my doubts. Generally, these don't hold up. There you go. And really, it's definitely an indie guy. Waiting for Geiger to come out. Okay, nice. And it might be really good. I just like people are jumping on it because of the option news and like are paying more because of the option news. And that's not a good idea. That's a really good question. It's a really good page. Yeah. All right, next, what we got? We're moving into covers, and we're going to start with this Jenny Frison Power Rangers Unlimited Heir to Darkness #1, Jenny Frison 1 in 50. Okay, this is going for $200 out the gate. How many stores order 50 copies of Power Rangers? How obsessed, crazy are Power Rangers fans? And it's Jenny Frison. To me, and I will be like, wouldn't be the first time I was wrong about something, but to me, this is probably straight cash. Now, I've done this once before, like, took the bait on a Power Rangers book and been way wrong. Like, and it came crashing back down. But a Frison cover, really limited Power Rangers fans, start of a new little run with a new kind of a new take. To me, that all of that strikes me as this. Not for me, like even as a Frison fan, I don't particularly want this book, but as my guess is Power Rangers fans are going to be obsessed with this thing. Yeah. See, comic collector saying overpriced. I don't argue with, like, I would never pay this much for this, and I'm a huge Frison fan, but Power Rangers fans are nuts. I mean, you get Star Wars fans are the same kind of way. Sometimes you get TMNT fans. Like, there's a very dedicated group that, like, some of those, you think about some of those helmet variants and how much those things still go for. Like, to me, I think this one's going to, like, I wouldn't, but I think it will. That's just my take. Yeah. I mean, you combine Frison and Power Rangers and hard to find. I like I said, I wouldn't pay that much for it, but I think there's plenty of people that will. So to me, that's straight cash. Next, we got little Adam Hughes. Goodness, Black Cat #4, the 1 in 25 Adam Hughes cover. This thing's going for $50 to $60. Week of release, gorgeous Adam Hughes Black Cat cover. But here's the thing, with Star Wars, I would agree with you on that, Ohana, but I'm too old for Power Rangers. I'm about 5 years too old. Power Ranger fans are nuts, yeah. So here's my general take on 125s. I don't care how gorgeous it is, who the artist is, the character, nothing. If the 1 in 25 out the gate only goes to about double, which this is doing, it's 50 to 60, about double ratio, that means it's going to fall back 99% of the time. Now, if this week it jumps further, if it goes further here between now and next week, like in the next couple of days, this jumps up to $100 book, like immediate jump higher, then it jumps into a different category for a 1 in 25. But 99% of the time, a 1 in 25 that peaks around double ratio falls back to just above ratio. So it falls back to being a $25 to $35 book. That's just what the numbers have told me looking at these over and over again, these 1 in 25s. It is a gorgeous cover. The Spidey sense is tingling. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great cover. I love it. But there's a little innuendo going on here. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, I don't know about 20, but I would guess 30. Yeah, I would say 30 is probably a really good guess, unruly. So yeah, so that makes this absolutely, you could argue if it's going for half of what it's going for now, it's a trap. It's definitely an I'll be back in those terms. And that's just that's just the nature of the 1 in 25s. They have to really take off in order to maintain. If they go to like triple to quadruple, if they go setting between 75 and 100 week of, then they tend to fall back to like 50, 60. If they go to like 150, 1 to 150, then they tend to stay a little higher, or maybe go on and go and take off and be big value books. But like anything that only jumps to like double, just generally doesn't hold that. It generally falls back. All right, next. You are correct about Black Border. We'll make that a 9.8 a little tougher. Last Ronin number 2. This is the Kevin Eastman WonderCon at home variant. So they did they're doing WonderCon at home kind of thing, a virtual WonderCon. This is going for $40 right after release. It's Turtles, it's Eastman. It's a little bit rare and hard to get. It's going only for $40. I kind of lean toward calling this a worth it. Like, I don't know that it has a super high ceiling, but I feel like it's probably worth it. I feel like at $40, I'll be surprised if it comes back lower than if it drops much from that. I know how much people are digging the series. Hey, CFAP, what's going on? We know nothing about Turtles. It's not great. I will agree. This black and white doesn't like kind of sketch inked variant is not awesome, but it's Mikey with a bunch of like arrows and swords sticking out of him. So I could be wrong. To me, like just generally with Turtles, I have a hard time. They tend to hold pretty well. Hey, Justin, what's going on, man? So I lean toward worth it at 40. Like if it was 100 or something, then I would be like, well, maybe it's just it's rare enough that it's gonna take off. But that's where I'm at. I honestly agree that it's not a very good cover, but I have a hard time betting against Turtles completely. I could see that. That's where I'll be honest, that's where I originally thought I was going to say. Like when I wrote down my notes, I said, I'll be back and not worth it. But as more I thought about it, I changed it to worth it. So we'll see. All right, next up, Nightwing number 78. Okay, this book has picked up momentum, 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out? Basically, it had been out over a week, was selling for around cover. They kind of announced a second print. I think they started drying up on shelves. This book's jumped up to $25. People are just super excited. I think, namely, I'll be one of them as a big Nightwing fan about the direction of this. It's like bottom of this of where the series is going. We get the first appearance of the dog, which I think they officially said the vote went because they had the voting for the puppy's name, and I think they're calling her Haley. So we get a first appearance of the dog. We get the letter between Alfred's letter and everything, setting up this whole new run. But there's nothing super key about this. To me, I feel like this is an I'll be back. I think it's a book that will hold some value because there's the Nightwing fans will keep it because it appears to be jumping on point to actually like good Nightwing, which we haven't had in a long time from DC. I think there's a lot of that going on. Nightwing fans rejoicing. Yeah, I definitely am. And I also think there's a little bit of, good storytelling being rewarded why this is going for more. The dog does sort of named it the tripod. I didn't either. Honestly, I hadn't paid any attention because I was thinking about trying to get me a second copy. Whoops. So, no real future. Right, Unruly. He hasn't been around for 80 years. So, it is a nice jump on point. But my guess is it's going to be a $10 to $20 book, not a $25 book. So probably like 15 is what I should probably say there. Like, you can get it for 10, you can get it for 20. That's where I had the feeling it'll set. So it's an I'll be back. To still, if you have not read it, I would recommend it. If you're even slightly a Batman family kind of fan or a Nightwing fan, this is a fantastic place to start. But in terms of value, it's an I'll be back. I don't think it's going to hold at 25. Does make it harder for me to like track down a second copy to get graded because I really like it. Yes. That is always a good thing. We definitely want to support the fact that this is spiking because of it's a great read, not because necessarily a first. I'm pretty sure he's referring to this, but yeah. All right, next up, we got XMen 282. So I put these next three just under a new category in terms of like why they're on the list. I didn't even put comic buzz or character buzz. I just put Marvel spike. There's just a spike on Marvel books right now. Any kind of Marvel, anything right now is jumping. This is first. I think technically they call it the cameo, even though he's on the cover. To me, he is on the in there and he does speak. So to me, this is kind of would be the first. This would be the book you would want. This is the first appearance of Bishop. Excuse me. Raw copies are only going for 15. There was just a big increase in sales, but 9.8s of this are going for $475. So if you can find a high grade raw copy for $15-20 and it's going for $475, holy crap, that is a huge, that's a really high 9.8 value for raws averaging $15. I mean, even if you're paying $30 for a high grade, that's a huge jump. That's a huge profit margin. This is probably to me, this is definitely straight cash just because I didn't realize it was this undervalued. I know there's a bunch of these from this time period. This is 91. 91. So there's a bunch of these. But man, that a 9.8 is going for that high and a raw copy is going for that little. Seems like it'd be worth sending a couple in trying to get a 9.8. That's all I could say. Long overdue Bishop love. Yeah. They have not done anything with it solid. I don't know that we'll see anything. It just seems like a little undervalued. Hey, Dara, what's going on? 9.6, yeah. Aren't we all? Very nice, Kirk. Good for you, man. I bet you could, maybe. They've been on the list, so they probably have been jumping. You're probably right. But we'll see. There's no real spec around Bishop at the moment, other than, time traveler. Maybe we'll get some time travel stuff. So we'll see. But I'd be patient. But if you could find a high grade for like $15-20, I'd be jumping on it, I think. It has been undervalued for a long time. So we'll see how high the raw copies actually go. But yeah. Next up. Now, this is not currently undervalued. And this is ASM 316, the second cover appearance of Venom, or maybe first full cover appearance of Venom. I mean, he's on the other book. I realize it's just a little bubble, but he's on the other book on the cover. But anyway, this is the one everyone wants. And I lost my place on the page, so I'm looking for the value. 9.6 this week hit $800. A 9.8 hit $1,700. I'm putting this again just under the general Marvel spike. That's huge money. A month ago, they were $350 and $700 respectively. Now they're $800 and $1,700 for 9.6 and 9.8. Huge jump on this book. Just crazy values. To me, this is an I'll be back. I mean, I realize it's Venom, but this seems like seems like it's going way high, that it won't probably go back to where it was a month ago at $350, $700, but I have a hard time believing as many of these are out there that this is going to hold this much value. Maybe I am probably underestimating symbiotes. I have a tendency to do that but to me, this is, that it just seems way too far, too fast. But I realize everything Marvel is doing this. So it's hard to know where the market's going to settle. It really is. It is a really cool. I mean, it's a cool book. It's a great book, but yeah, good for you, TJ. It's not Batman 8. No, I mean, it is still like most people call it his first cover, even though it's not. I mean, it's kind of like there's a lot of things that we do in the community but it's his first really cool cover for sure of Venom. It just seems like a lot to me. I think it settles lower than this. We'll see. I may be underestimating symbiotes and how much people love them. Next, speaking of not a great cover, well, the opposite in terms of great cover, Avengers Annual number 10, first appearance of Rogue. This has been a sort of a criminally underrated book for a long time. 9.6s hit 600 this week. 9.8 hit 2,500, both of which are double what they were a month ago. So yeah, a month ago they were 312 respectively. Worst cover for a key. So I think it's the only reason it stayed this low in value as it did for as long as it did. Realistically, 2,500 for 9.8 first appearance of Rogue. If she was on this cover, like it would have been that value a long time ago, in my opinion. Tell me I'm wrong, but I think this has been criminally undervalued has been long undervalued because of the cover. And to me, this is straight cash. I don't think this book's coming back. I really don't. Rogue did deserve better. He's gonna win that bike. Win it. Yeah. Beautiful interiors. There you go. She is on the cover. Yes, she's. I don't think I can zoom in. Like on this, but I thought she was on there. Doesn't she? Really? I thought she was in the background, but maybe yeah. Well, yeah, she's the shadow or whatever. But anyway, yeah, I think it does. Good for you. Yeah. All right, next up. So not much to say about that. Free cash. Next up, King Shark is blowing up in response to that trailer. Raw copies are now setting 50 plus. 9.8 are at 450,500 this week. They were at 150 prior to the trailer dropping. So before the trailer dropped, this was $150 for 9.8. Now it's 450,500 based on that trailer. Which I thought he was entertaining in the trailer. I love that he just walks up and eats a dude. That's like, oh, like, but 450,500. I mean, I get King Shark is going to have a new level. If they pull this off, I loved him in the Harley Quinn animated show. Thought he was fantastic. If they pull this off, I don't think it's going back to 150, but I don't know about 450,500. That seems like a lot to me. No, I would agree with this. I don't think King Shark's coming back to what it was before. No, I think it's new. Yeah, nom, nom, nom. He actually says that. He's like as he's walking up on the guy. It's awesome. What's going on, Louis? It might. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure what the release date is. I thought it's a ways out. So I feel like between now and the release, it's going to settle a little bit. I feel like this is a peak. It'll settle between now and the release that you can get it for a little less. And then depending on how the movie does and where they go from there, like it'll peak again at the movie, but what it does long-term after that, my guess is it comes back unless they use, because I don't know that I see them using him over and over again, but we'll see. That's kind of what I expect. So I would say and I'm not sure what the release date is on this sucker. I'll be perfectly honest. I should have looked it up to remind myself, but I'm not sure. But to me, it's between now and release, it's going to settle. Yeah. Yeah, but they've also put him in. He's been now in Guardians 1, Guardians 2, Infinity War, Endgame. We know there's a Guardians 3 going. So, yeah, Rocket is continuing on. Will we get a James Gunn is going from back to Marvel to do Guardians 3? Are we going to get more James Gunn? Are we going to get more King Shark? To me, that's where you're thinking about this in terms of long term. Short term, it'll probably go higher if the movie comes out, but between now and then, I would guess it will settle a little bit. Now, at in 6 months' time, if that's about the time the movie's coming out, late summer, then it's probably going to still be high. Now, hey, I made a good point. We'll highlight that. Next up, we got Flash number 92, first appearance of Impulse. He's finally coming to the CW show, so that's made this 9.8 of this hit $200. Does anyone still care about the CW shows? I haven't watched the CW show in any of them, the DC CW stuff, in years. I don't know how many times did King Shark appear in that show, or Gorilla God, or all the characters. Like, to me, this is a trap. like Impulse might be a really good character, but coming to the show means nothing. Like, no. Like, these shows have not sustained value. Yeah. In this day and age, I can see people doing that. This is what I'm saying. people are paying more money for this. I wouldn't. So there you go. All right, next, Warlock. We got Strange Tales number. What is this? 179. First appearance of Pip the Troll. Rumors that this character is going to come to the Eternals movie. $10 to $15, 9.6, 275, which seems really high. $10 to $15 raw. This is like at 10 to 15. This is an I'll be back. It's not a trap just because it's not going for that much. But there were several memes that came out about that. TJ comic speculators rushing out to grab the first appearance of Starro after the trailer, and then realizing it's also the first appearance of Justice League. It's like, oh shit. Yeah. Oh, 8 pence. I didn't even notice that that's the picture I grabbed. I did grab the 8 pence version, didn't I? That's cool. I just grabbed the picture. So, yeah. No one cares about Pip the Troll. No one's going to care about Pip the Troll. He's not going to be a main character. This is dumb. If it was going more, I would say Trap or Dumpster Fire, but it's only 10 to 15. Speaking of Dumpster Fire or Trap at the very back, really, this is a So this is Black Panther number 4, first appearance of White Wolf. Well, Bucky refers to himself in the Falcon and Winter Soldier show as White Wolf. This is not Bucky. This is a completely different character. Has no relation to anything going on in the show. There was a different character named White Wolf. He was kind of has nothing to do with this show. Doesn't appear to going to be having anything to do with the show. This is not Bucky as White Wolf. This is just the first appearance of the name of a character named White Wolf that has no connection whatsoever to the show. And because of that, it's going for $20. It's jumped from cover price kind of book to a $20 book. 9.8 went for $130. It's not Bucky. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same character. Stop it. Yes. Yeah. I know they were. Tom and Russ were like, "Don't do it." And it didn't matter. Well, it was already happening when they said that. But yeah, it's just like, yep, just like the Flag Smasher. It's not actually that character. It's they're just using that name. Um, I know he'd already called him that in the movies, but they're jumping on it this week. Shoot first, and that's what some of these that's what speculators tend to do. Shoot first, worry about reality later. Next, oh wait, did I? Yeah. Next, Captain America 323, first appearance of John Walker. Now, I said when this hit the list 2 weeks ago that this book would go higher during the show before dropping off after. Like this was absolutely, and I'll be back. Get away from the show before you even think about chasing this book. 2 weeks ago, when it hit the list, it was $60 for raw copies on average, $700 for 9.8. Now it's $130 average on raw copies, $900 for 9.8. Just through the roof. Like, and probably going to continue to climb or creep up at least through the end of the show. So it has much to move. But yeah, so I wouldn't go anywhere near this book. Like right now, there's no project. I was thinking about this today. There's no project that's been announced that is a clear follow-up for Falcon, Buck, or Winter Soldier, either one. Or this guy. Like they've announced projects out a couple years. There's no, like for WandaVision, there was a clear follow-up of Doctor Strange 2 because they kept saying it. For Monica Rambeau, there was clear follow-up for Captain Marvel 2 and the Miss Marvel show. They've said that. There is no clear follow-up for this. And it's pretty clear that he's not going to have the shield after it's over. It doesn't mean the character's going away. To me, this is just an I'll be back. This is just be patient, get away from the series, get away from the current hype. If you want this book, come back later. It's just the way it should be. Well, the sad thing is everybody hates him. Like, all the things on the internet is, oh, he sucks. We all like John Walker, which you're not supposed to, which means they're being effective with it. But yeah. It's not spec. That's the thing. Here's the thing. If you're buying it right now, you're not specking on anything. When's he going to be hotter? You think he's getting his own show? You think he's getting his own movie? Like, no, Falcon might get a movie. Or Winter Soldier, they might get more. But there's no spec here. It's happened. It's happening. That's not speculation anymore. That's reaction. You're reacting. That's why you need to be patient. Yes. And same thing. Right now it's just the wrong time. Just wait. 333, 20 puts the uniform on. There you go. All right, one book left. We talked about this book last week. This was on the list last week. Truth, Red, White, and Black, #1. First appearance of Isaiah Bradley. Obviously, we got his first appearance in episode 2 of the show. I don't know if we're going to come back to him. I talked about this week that I thought that based on everything I read and found out about this after the fact, that this had been a criminally underrated book, that this is a really important and cool story. I kind of stand by that. Last week it was basically about the same. It's going this week on Raw, still around $80. 9.8 last week though were $250, and 9.8 now is up to $500. I'm still thinking this is going to be kind of a Blue Marvel kind of thing. I don't think this book is necessarily going to come back. I don't know that the ceiling is much higher than it's at right now. We'll see. People are going to have to really love it. But, yeah. That's where I'm at on this. I think this is... I hope we get more Isaiah Bradley. If we do, this probably jumps higher. And at some point, it goes past probably where it settles. I'm not sure we're quite there yet. So right now, I'd say it's probably still worth it, particularly on a Raw side. But... yeah, probably go with worth it on this right now. We'll see if it goes much higher. I just want to track down, and I could probably do it on the Marvel app, the reading app. I just haven't done it, but I'd love to track down the trade or whatever and just read it. having what I've heard about it. So. Oh yeah, apparently there's a bunch that it's Marvel. They're specking on everything. They're reacting to everything now. They're not specking. Specking is doing it before there's news, buying something before there's news. People react. Spec is the wrong word for what's going on in the community right now. Someone's saying the art is terrible though. Okay, well I've never read it, so I don't know. See, this is kind of like, from what I'm hearing, this is where I feel like this is going with this particular book. All right, gang. So that were the 17 books this week. I will be doing the whatever report tonight. An hour later than normal. We don't have D&D this week. We're kind of between. We haven't worked out exactly what we're going to do. If we're going to try to start a new game, if we're going to go to somebody else's channel, we haven't really worked all that out yet. But we finished up our D&D campaign on White Whale's channel last week. So no D&D tonight. So I'm moving the whatever report back an hour to 8 Central. So we'll be doing that tomorrow night on my channel. It's my turn to host Gotham City Chronicles. Myself, Kavi, Comic Books NYC, and Bearded Comic Bro are talking Batman Dark Victory. That's our 24th episode of that, so which is pretty cool. I'll be back. It's a trap right now because it's the person they hired to direct it has another project he's just starting right now. Before he can even get to that. So, yeah, it's going to be a long time. It's going to be a long time before that happens, if it does. And then Thursday night, we're doing Indie Show will be back. We're talking Fables, volumes 10 and 11. Spoiler warning for that show. I love these 2 volumes. I thought they were really good. So we got that going on this week. Plan to still do the look back show for Saturday. Got to get it pulled together a little earlier this week. But plan to get that done. But next Sunday, there'll be no Cash or Trash. There'll be no whatever report because I'm not going to be home. So next Sunday. And then the Monday after, we'll be back with a Collecting Smart. So it'll just be the one day you'll miss me in terms of that I usually put out stuff. Thank you, Sam. Better get out of here before TJ gets, of course, they're really good. Before TJ gets mad for me saying that I'm not going to be on next Sunday. I'm going to be on Saturday, though. Saturday and Monday next week, TJ. So I won't be gone too much. I want to thank everybody, and we'll catch you next time.